Hello, welcome to part 2 of the 4-month sleep regression. Today I'm going to give you some tips on how to help your baby get through this as quick as possible. Part 1 is what it is and why it happens, so if you haven't already watched that, go give it a listen so you know a little more of what we're talking about. So the first thing is really setting the environment for great sleep. Remember, they're having lighter stages of sleep now, spending time in those, and they have to cycle through one to the next, which is also a light stage of sleep. If you haven't already started putting your baby in the crib at this point, I know during the newborn stage we do a lot of contact naps or carriers, and that's all good. And around this time, it's a great opportunity to give them their own sleep environment. One, because they're more aware of their surroundings and might have a harder time falling asleep when they're out and about. But two, you can control the environment a little more and help them when they're in those late stages of sleep. So what I mean by that is make the room super dark. Yeah, the light can wake them up, early morning wake-ups, when they're in the late stages of sleep and when they're transitioning from one to the next. So 10 out of 10 dark. Babies are not afraid of the dark at this age. They don't have that awareness. They don't have that fear. So don't worry about that. Of course, you can put a little nightlight in there if you need to help you see for when you're doing feeds and check-ins and things like that. Stick with a red hue light that is the least intrusive to the melatonin production, which really starts to tap in at this age as well. The other thing you can do with their own sleep environment is that you can help muffle out environmental sounds, so using white noise. And I say stick to white noise like static as opposed to music because it's consistent and it doesn't go in and out in different speeds, which can also cause a wake up in a really late stage of sleep. And then strategically place it. If they share a wall with like a busy road on the outside where there's trucks going by or lawnmowers or whatever, place the white noise over by that wall. If their door leads to like the rest of the house, like the living room's right outside there, place it by the door. Again, we're trying to muffle out the sounds that could cause like an abrupt wake up during a light stage of sleep. The other thing that you're going to need to be aware of now is how your baby is falling asleep. If you don't have a bedtime routine already, another great opportunity to do it here. Again, melatonin is starting to pick up and produce at a regular time at this age in the evenings. So a bedtime routine can really help set them up for releasing the melatonin. They pick up on that pattern. If it's the same thing every single night, their brain will start to associate, oh, when I have bath and pajamas and a lotion massage and these pajama sleep sack, then I go to sleep for the long stretch of night. And so their brain takes over and starts to produce the melatonin for them in those beginning stages, which helps them fall asleep. You can mimic the same bedtime routine for naps, except it's going to be much shorter, 5 to 10 minutes for that, because you're not going to give them a bath every time they take a nap. However, you can still change them into pajamas and a sleep sack if you want. You don't have to. You can still read a song or read a book or sing a song with them or a prayer before they go down. You are going to still give them a clean diaper before they go down. So having a set routine to help them associate sleep with this pattern is a great way to set the stage. The other thing is that, like we talked about in the other video, they're more cognitively aware of what's going on in their surroundings. So if up until this point you have been holding your baby to sleep or rocking them to sleep or feeding them or whatever it is, and you were doing more of the effort to help them fall asleep, that can cause trouble here. Not for every baby, but if you're noticing lots and lots of wake-ups and they're not connecting sleep cycles, then really look at what's happening as they're falling asleep. They're drowsy but awake. It's so hard to do. During the newborn stage, it's fine. They're all drowsy, right? It's hard to keep them awake. But as they get older, the drowsy but awake, you're doing part of the process for them to falling asleep and they're relying on you to help them fall asleep. So what you want to try to do is, of course, give them a full feed in here, especially at bedtime, but you want to really try to keep them as awake as possible. That might mean you switch your routine a little bit around and maybe don't put them in their pajamas until after you feed them. You're really trying to keep them awake so that way they're not relying on feeding to sleep. And also, if you're doing something else like rocking, I'm not saying don't stop rocking your child, but just change where it is in the routine or shorten it just so they're calm and then lay them down awake. That's going to be crucial in them connecting sleep cycles. Some children will never have an issue with this at all. You can do whatever you want. You can rock them to sleep every night and they're going to sleep through the night because they just do it. But others that don't, they're getting stuck more often than not because they are looking to recreate the same environment in which they fell asleep in the first place when they wake up during the night or when they wake up from a short nap. They get stuck. They don't know how to get back to sleep on their own. So you're really going to work to lay them down awake to fall asleep. Okay. I know that's easier said than done, of course, because if this is new for your baby, good chance they're not going to know what to do and cry when you lay them down. You can offer a lot of intermittent comfort, and by that I mean some sounds, so some humming or singing or shushing to them. You can do some picking up and putting down just to calm them. You can do some gentle touch, rubbing their bellies or their head. But you're going to be very mindful of that they're awake the whole time and that they're not falling asleep while you're doing that. Okay, so if you have questions or want more help on what I just went over, feel free to drop them in the comments or reach out to me at gmssleep.com. Thank you.